Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. This is video 3 of the Git series. On this video, what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna be showing you how to connect an existing project that you have on your computer locally, how to connect it to a remote repo that we're gonna be creating on GitHub. In the last video, what we did was we started a project from scratch, so we didn't have any existing project that we were working on locally. So we just created a remote repo here on GitHub, and then we just cloned it to our local machine. So that means that we just started from scratch with no files. And you use that method, or you go in that way if you wanna start from scratch and you don't have any files or you don't have any folders or projects locally on your computer. But in this case, how we're gonna be starting is that we're gonna have already like a project that we're working on our computer, and that's usually how people go. They start working on their computer on projects and then they want to push them on GitHub. So that's basically what we're going to be doing. So let's just get started. So let's just create a new folder that says test 2 or something like that. And the next thing that we want to do is we want to open Visual Studio. So let's open Visual Studio. I'm going to close. So this is the one that we were using before, Git test. So let me just rename this, and then we'll have it as Git test 2 or something like that. Okay, so now let's open Visual Studio, and here we're gonna go where it says open folder. So you have the command here, so it's just command O. Alright, so then it's gonna tell you where's the folder that you want to open. So just go to, I put it on the desktop, so just where it says Git test 2. So we're just gonna open that folder. So just open whatever folder you have there, or whatever folder you created. And since we're waiting for this, let's just go to GitHub, and this is the one that we were working on in the last video. So let's just go back and create a new repo. So let's go where it says repo. Let's go where it says new. Alright, so here we already have our project. So you can see here we're already in the folder because we opened it. Alright, so let's just create this really quick. So get Git test 2, just make it public, so we're not gonna add anything, so we'll just create it. Alright, so we just want to have it like this. So this is Git test 2. Alright, and now we come to our Visual Studio Code. So we're gonna open the terminal, and let's create some files, because we're gonna do it assuming that we already have a project here locally, right? And we want to connect that project to our remote repo that we just created. So let's say that we already worked on this project and we know that it works on the local machine. We have it ready and we want to deploy it. So then we push it on GitHub. So let's create some files here. So we'll just create a file that's called readme. Alright, we create another file. Let's just call it index.html. Alright, and here let's just put like a tag or something, I don't know. Hello world, so that it just has something. Alright, so let's just save that. Okay, now we have 2 files, so we can work with those. Alright, so we're gonna issue the following command, git remote, and then -v. So that's gonna give you this error that says that it's not a Git repo. So that means that we haven't initialized any repo. This is just like a local project on our computer. It's just like a folder on our computer. Alright, so now we want to issue this command, which is git remote, and just like that. So that's gonna tell you like this is not a repo, right? So this is just like a local project on our computer. It's just like a local directory. You can see it here. Alright, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to initialize it as a Git repo, or like as a Git project, right? So now we're saying this is called initialize an empty Git repo, and it's called test, Git test 2, right? So now if we issue the command git remote, the same command that we used to issue -v, so it's not gonna give you anything because we don't have a remote that's connected to this repo. Alright, but now at least we know that it's already like it's like a Git project, right? Okay, so how do we connect to this remote? The way to connect to the remote is to issue the following command. So just say git remote add origin, and you have it here. See, so you can just copy paste that, but like I'm just gonna do it the long way. Git remote add origin, and then we just paste the URL. And here origin is the name of the, it's just the name of the remote. So enter. All right, so it doesn't tell you anything. So what we wanna do is, I'll just close this. So what we wanna do is we just wanna say just issue the following command: git remote and -v once again. So now we should get that it's connected to the remote. So as you can see, we have it, the name, its origin, it's connected to this remote, which is on GitHub, to this URL. All right, so now we're connected to it. All right, so let's just, we have to, add these changes, add these files to the stage arena, and then we have to commit them, and then we have to push them so that we can get them here, because that's the final goal, right? So we're gonna say, so in the last tutorial I used git add, and then this to add them. So in this tutorial I'm just gonna go and use the UI of Visual Studio Code, like the GitHub, like the source control itself. So if you come to the files, you go where it says, where it's the plus, and then you say, you just click on it, just click on it as well, and you can review what changes you made. Well, we just created like a new file, right? You can see that they're here now on the stage changes area, I guess. And now what you want to do is go where it says message. So this is the same as saying git commit, and then you just give the message, right? Like this. So it's the same, first commit or something like that. So it's the same as issuing this command, but we're not gonna issue the command now. We're just gonna do it from here. So now we'll just say first commit once again, and then we'll just say commit. Where it says publish branch, that's the same as saying git push. It's the same as saying this command, right? So let's just do it from here. So we'll click here. It's gonna give you like it's gonna ask you first. It didn't ask me. Usually it asks you, like, it's gonna tell you, like, it pushes and pulls code from this. So then you have to say yes. That's it. So now it seems like we pushed the code. However, let's issue this command git status, and that gives you the status of the branch. So it says on branch master, your branch is up to date. So that means that we're up to date to whatever is here on the remote. All right, so let me just clear this, and let's just refresh here. And now we should have the code here. And as you can see, we have the first commit, which was the commit message that we put here, and then we have the files. So if you click on one of the files, you should see its contents. So here we have the hello world, which is here. So that's pretty much how you connect to the remote. So we're not starting from scratch anymore. That's why we don't use git clone. So when we don't have any directory on our local computer and we just want to start from scratch, we use git clone, and then just follow the steps that we follow on the first video. And if you already have some files like we did here, or like a like a project, like a local folder that you wanna just push on GitHub, then you have to follow this process. So you have to add a remote. So that's pretty much how you connect to a remote. If you already have some files on your computer that you wanna push, but they are just like a local project, or like a project directory on your computer, like a folder that you just created and you've been working on it for a long time, but now you wanna deploy. So then that's how you connect to a remote. And in the last video, what we did was that we started from scratch. So we didn't have any project directories on our computer or anything like that. So that's why we use the other method. In the last video, what I was doing is I was just issuing the commands from here to add the changes and also commit and push. So I'm just gonna do the same thing here, so that you don't have to watch the other video if you just want to watch this video. So we'll just add something to the hello world here. Let's go back to the files, just close this. All right, so let's just add here hello world of today or something like that. Let's just save it, and now we're gonna use the terminal because I used the UI before. So just say git add, and then we'll just say dot to add all the changes. If we don't want to do it that way, we can just call the individual file like this. All right, and now you can say git status, and that's gonna tell you have these changes to be committed. So that tells you that this file is already like on the stage changes arena. All right, so I was gonna show you this in the next video, but this is just like a quick overview, I guess. And now you want to say git commit, And then let's just give a message saying second commit or something like that. You want to be a little bit more informative, but in my case, I'm just gonna say that. So let's just say second commit. All right, so now if we say git status, it's gonna tell you like there's nothing to commit. So everything, so right now everything is on like the stage changes, right? So now we have to push. So git push, so that we can push the changes to the remote. So if you look at the file right now, it only says hello world. So once we push this, so now it's asking me for my password. So I'm just gonna put my password. I don't know why it keeps asking me for this. Let's just say always allow. Every time that I want to push, it asks me for that. It's because I just updated to a new version. Alright, so now it seems like everything is went correct. So now we go back here and let's just refresh. Now we should have the file with the contents changed. So now it says hello world of today, which is what we have in our local. So now you can see that it worked. Alright, on the next video I'm gonna show you some commands that you will use that are pretty useful, that will help you along the way with your projects. And yeah, that's pretty much what the next video is gonna cover. So just stick around, and if you like the videos, just don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.